everybody, I'm Mahin and welcome to a special edition of the Bellydance Quickies, and welcome to my office. It's a little messy today, alright. Today we're going to do another Audacity tutorial, a music editing tutorial. So a couple months ago I did one about how to make your music a little slower so that you can use it for more effective practice, and I got a lot of really nice feedback on that one and some additional questions about Audacity. So today we're going to do another one, and this one's going to be about how to shorten your music. So there's a lot of times when you might want to shorten your music. For example, maybe you get a show slot and it's only 4 minutes long and your music is 4.5 minutes long, so it's just a little too long, or maybe it's way too long and you need to get it down to size. So there's a couple ways you can do that. Sometimes you can do it where you find a nice clean spot to make a break in the music, and sometimes you need to fade it out. So we're going to cover both of those things today. So if you like videos like this, if you like to know how to do your own music and things like this, then please do go ahead and give a little like in the box down there. It's very helpful, and also make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. So that is a great way to make sure that you don't miss the next video when it comes out. So before we get started though, why Audacity? Okay, well there's a lot of music editing programs out there. Perhaps there's even one that's already built into your computer, especially if you have an Apple computer. I happen to be a Windows person, but there's a lot of software out there. But Audacity is free and it's pretty easy to use once you just get your hands in there and just try a little bit. And also it's super accessible for anyone, no matter what platform. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do this on. And honestly, Audacity has done everything I've ever needed it to do for any of the music I've used for myself as a soloist, or for my troupe, or for even editing a whole podcast when I used to do a podcast. Did you know I did a podcast? Yeah, I did. Go look it up. All right. But anyway, so Audacity it's super useful. And that's what we're going to be doing this today. So we're going to do a clean edit, and we're going to do a fade out as well. And so go ahead and get your Audacity open, and I will meet you over at your computer. Okay, so here we are. Audacity is open and we're ready to go get our file. So we're going to go up here to File and Open, and I'm going to take this piece of music right here. So it's going to load up our music, and now we can see the file here. Now one thing to remember is that Audacity works with WAV files and MP3 files. Now a lot of the things that we have, especially if you use iTunes, will be in an AAC or an M4A format, and you cannot edit those. You do need to convert those to an MP3 file in order to be able to bring them into Audacity for editing. So if you can do that actually right in iTunes. You don't need another program to do that. You have to dig a little bit to find the controls to do that, but if you perhaps want a tutorial on that one, you can let me know in the comments and I'll consider that for another one. But for now, we've got an MP3 file right here, and you can see this, you can see the different sections. This file happens to be a flute tuxeme at the beginning, and then the drums come in, and you can see that in the shape of the waveform of the sound waves here. And when it gets louder and more powerful, we've got a wider sound wave, and this is the delicate part. I happen to know that this is us chit-chatting at rehearsal right here, so I'm going to take this out right now so I can highlight that section. And so if you want to remove something from a song, this is what you do. You highlight it. I'm going to remove our chit-chat because it's rehearsal recording. And then you can either go over here to the scissors, or you can go up here to edit and cut. Okay, so now we've just got the music here. And this section here is our flute player, just a little flute tuxeme like that. And this section here is all the instruments. You can see there's a lot more sound going on in this section. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to practice shortening. Now this piece altogether is only 3.5 minutes long, so I would need to shorten it, but I'm going to show you how to do a clean stop and a fade out on this piece. So let's go ahead and look at a clean ending. And if we have something in your music where you have a distinct place, like a really final sounding drum beat, or a place in the melody where you can kind of find a place that feels like it would be a natural ending, then you can take advantage of that. So I'm going to look at this section right here to show you a clean ending. So let's listen to this little juncture. So we've got a place where the flute ends and the drum comes in. So we're going to make a clean cut right at that spot. Now, if you can't see things too clearly, you can always zoom in a bit like this. And then from here you can see this much more clearly. You can see exactly where that is. So I'm going to end this right here. So I'm going to take my cursor, I'm going to put it down, click, hold it down, and I'm going to drag over everything else, because right now I'm just going to take all this out. And then I'm going to cut this. So you would take everything from the point that you wanted to stop and beyond and cut it out. Now, again, I can cut it here at my scissors, or I can cut it here up at the top. So go ahead and snip, just like that. All right, now I'm going to show you something that I learned the hard way. So I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to play this section. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of stop, I'm going to pause. Let's say I pause this. Now I've got this section highlighted for cutting. Now I'm going to go over here, and you see, nothing happens. I can come up here to edit, and I can cut, and nothing happens. Now, this used to drive me crazy when I was first learning Audacity, and I was like, why isn't this working? But the reason is because you're on pause, you're not on stop. So as soon as you highlight and you make sure that you're at a full stop, then this will work. Okay, so hopefully you have less headaches about that than I did when I was first learning this. All right, I'm going to undo this again, and now I'm going to show you how to make a fade out. Well, let's say that you don't have a clean place to cut music, or you just happen to really want a nice soft fade out. Then you're going to find your spot. Let's say I need it to be 2.5 minutes long. So right here, so I see 2.5 minutes, and I can see when I look at this, you've got a place where the music kind of is louder, and then you have a nice softer spot right here, and then you have louder again. So I'm going to try and fade this out right around here. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take off everything that I don't want. So again, I'm going to highlight all of this and cut. Now if I play this right now, it's going to sound a little weird and awkward and abrupt. Boom, see? That's not very good. So we want to soften that ending up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a section of it. And how long you want it to fade out is really up to you. I like a longer fade personally. So I'm going to come, let's see, this is about 15 seconds right here. So I'm going to come back from around here and highlight all of this. And I'm going to go to Effect and Fade Out. You've got to fade in or fade out. So you can see if you wanted to fade a song in from a section, you could do that right there. And then you've got your fade out right here. So now let's hear how that sounds. And that is much nicer. Okay, so once you have that done, now you need to export this, because right now this is just your working file. And if you have saved this here and you go to File and Save, or Save Project, or Save As, like that, then once you have that saved, that's an AUP file. That's just your working file, and you can come back to that file to make more changes on it later if you decide that after listening to it that it wasn't quite what you wanted. But let's assume that you have finished and you've got it into the shape that you wanted, the length, and you've got the clean cut or you've got the fade, whatever it is you were looking for. Now you need to export. So you're going to come up here to File and Export Audio. And from here you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to change this to test, and make sure you know where you're saving it so you can go find it later. And down here you can see that you have different types of files. Some of these are really obscure and not really used in most of the things that maybe a dancer would want to use for maybe an audio engineer might want them, but a lot of these are a little more obscure files. A couple of the ones that we do use are the WAV files for editing sometimes, but like I said, you don't need to, and also the MP3 file, which is our nice universal format, very easy, very portable. No matter what CD or iPod player or other MP3 player you put it on, you won't have too much trouble with that. That's the most portable form of music and the most compatible with everything else. Alright, so we've got our format, we have our name, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to save that, and it's going to ask us to give some more information. Now you don't have to do any more information here, but if you put this in when you take it into iTunes, this stuff will come through, and that's kind of handy. So, you know, I have mine labeled Artist Dreams of Arabia, and a track title was Tarab for Flagstaff. And so I could put the year in here, I could put the genre, I could add some notes from myself, whatever you find useful, and then from there you just go ahead and say OK, and it saves it for you, and then you can go fetch your file and import it into iTunes or to whatever CD or whatever player or anything else that you want. Alright, so now you know how to shorten your music. Okay, so now you know how to shorten your music. So next time you have a show spot and they say it's only 4 minutes long, you can say, no problem, I know exactly what to do about that, and you can still have your favorite song. And if you do find this video useful, then please do take a moment, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe down there. And if you are interested in other material other than music editing, say perhaps tutorials or makeup or costume care, things like that, we cover a lot in the Bellydance Quickies. It comes out 3 days a week by email, and you can also subscribe to that for free in the box down there. So that little box, there's a lot of useful stuff down there. Go take a minute to read it. And thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your editing, and I'll see you next time.